Here is the most absolute thing. So, before we get to the old topics that I'm going to be talking about today, well, in the most first of all, folks, good evening and welcome to Asseylum Justin Villamor show, as per the usual. And before we totally get started with the topics, uh, just some little music here as per usual, but anyways thing here, how about we shall go to it first. So, yes, here comes the music. So, in the most of thing here, uh, after some little music, we're gonna go ahead and go talk about the topics that I've laid out for today.
Now is your time to make your mark.
Oopsie. Sorry about that. But anyways, over it as enough of it, and the ways of thing here. Yes. Hold on. So the midst of thing here, how you guys doing? And yes, good evening. And once again, welcome to Asylum Just a bit of my show. And don't forget, share this around. Oh yes, share it around. That's the most absolute fascinating here. And what I can tell you of right now that first as most all, big tech can go after anyone, including you, of course. But mm-hmm. But in the most of thing here, let me just go and fix this some little shits here. Mm. Hold on. Just gonna go fix this little thing and I'll be right back here. My deepest apologies for that, folks. Intel as of right now. I totally offer you my deepest apology here because things supposed to be going on right now and talk about topics, but just need to fix some little shits there. But in the midst of it, once again, welcome to Asseylum, this is Villamor show, and yes, let's get straight to it. So, absolute fundamental things here. Some very huge breaking news here. Oh, yes, huge fundamental breaking news here. Because, yes, Pastor James Coates is finally being released. He's being finally released from prison. And to the old people, like for other people who hasn't showed their support for Pastor James Coates, please do so. Because it's the most absolutely thing here. Uh, we need to stand up against the medical tyranny. We need to say no. Enough is enough. This is outrageous enough that a pastor was literally being like, like in the most of thing, a pastor being held as a political prisoner for spreading out the gospel of the Lord. Yes, preaching and spreading out the gospel of the Lord. And here's the most absolute fundamental rock clip. Look at this. Exclusive clip. So we'll start from there we go. And we're gonna play the whole footage here.
Should be in my bags. Brother? Here. You just transfer some money to a guy. Oh, I need it's in this one. Sure, yeah, thank you. Yeah, no worries.
Look at that thing. It's so very beautiful. And uh, that's literally proof that if we put a lot of pushback against this, we will win. Of course, it's the power of the people. And then this big guys think hurt literally thinking that they can win with this. No, they need to see what the power of the people can do. It's we, the people, who have the power, not the other way around. But I can tell you, it's very nice that uh, Pastor James quotes is being released now. And if you can see, like if you can see on my profile, what I put out here, hold on. See, that's what I put. That's the frame that I put on my profile, my Facebook profile. See, free Pastor James quotes. Liberate the church now. If you and been wondering why I put up that there, it's to show my support for Pastor James quotes because it's so very egregious enough that church being targeted for basically exercise for basically holding a service and uh, a pastor being held as a political prisoner being targeted for exercising their rights of yes for exercising their rights. Yes, it's called freedom of religion. Church is essential. Churches is more than liquor store. Uh, and here's the most absolute fundamental thing. The most of thing here, uh, that we're seeing freedom of religion being trampled upon, freedom of peaceful assembly being trampled upon, freedom of association being trampled along, and even freedom of the press, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of thought. If you can imagine, and even the Section 6 of the Charter rights. And I can tell you that everyone has a right to life, liberty, and security of a person. Is the most fundamental rights that we enjoy here. Yeah, I don't have the full, the whole document here, but hold on, let me see if I have enough, if I have extra copy. Hold on here. I'm gonna say if I have uh, an, another copy here. Okay, travel wise, yes, from section 1 to 6. Let's see. Yes. So in the midst of thing here, it says in the beginning, whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. And damn, this guy's kind of bugging me, but don't worry about it. The most of thing here, folks, that the most of thing here is yes, of course, the section 2 from A to D. So, freedom of conscience and religion, freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication, freedom of peaceful assembly, and freedom of association, and yes, mobility rights. So we're gonna put up. So basically, I'm gonna go and uh, point out the whole session 6 here. So, uh-huh. Here is the most absolute conclusion here. So, section 6 from bracket, I'm going to be putting all about, yes, I'm going to be putting, oh, yes, just listen carefully to all the sections here. Yes, I'm going to be, of course, what about this? So, let's go through all the whole section 6 here. First and most all says here, every citizen of Canada has the right to enter, remain in, and live in Canada, rights to move and gain livelihood. Every citizen of Canada and every person who has the status of a permanent resident of Canada has the right to move to and take up residence in any province and to pursue the gaining of livelihood in any province. Limitation. The rights specified in subsection 2 are subject to any law or practices of general application enforced in a province other than those that discriminate among persons primarily on the basis of province of present or previous residence. Any law providing for reasonable residency requirements as a qualification for the receipt of public DC for publicly provided social services. Affirmative action programs. Subsections 2 and 3 do not preclude any law, program, or activity that has as its subject that yes, subsections 2 and 3 do not preclude any law, program, or activity that has as its object the amelioration in a province of conditions of individuals in the province who are socially or economically disadvantaged if the rate of employment in the province is below the rate of unemployment in Canada. Legal rights, yes, life, liberty, and security of everyone. So, the rest of thing, of course, I apologize for some some little things here. So, yes, Section 7. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person, and the right not to be provided therefore, except in accordance with the principles of fundamental justice. Section 8. Everyone has the right to be secure against unreasonable search or seizure. Section 9. Everyone has the right not to be arbitrarily detained or imprisoned. And that's the most absolute thing we enjoy here, of course. But Trudeau doesn't care about the Charter of Basic Freedom that his father signed. Doesn't care about it. And can tell you that so very egregious enough. Yeah. Here's the, here's the thing.
Unconstitutional in the first place. Understand it for anything else. I want to walk you through our lawsuit that we have taken to Rebel News with a story that you are not going to want to miss. I'm suing Justin Trudeau and his cabinet. His attorney general is responding in the federal court after we pushed an application to a federal judge for them to declare Justin Trudeau's COVID gulags unconstitutional. We're making a lot of applications asking a lot of these judges, and I want to walk you through what exactly we're doing, why we're doing it, why it is so important. And it's not just for us. It's not just so that when we go back to the United States to report on issues and topics that many Canadians and Americans rely on Rebel News to do. It's not just so that when we come back, we're not going to have to go to a COVID jail again. We're doing this for every Canadian that happens to be outside of the country for any reason. There's one individual who was actually in San Francisco seeing their son before they passed away. This is an issue that every Canadian might have to deal with. You hope that you might not have to, but every Canadian is at risk of Justin Trudeau's absolutely insane, unconstitutional laws and regulations that he has set up, which has seen Canadians lose their liberty and security and financial assets because of Justin Trudeau's vanity project, because of Justin Trudeau's distraction from his failures during this pandemic, most notably vaccine procurement. This is all a distraction. Don't misunderstand it for anything else. I want to walk you through our lawsuit that we have taken to federal court. It's a strong lawsuit, and I want to explain to you what it is. And then we're going to have our lawyer, our superstar lawyer, her name's Sarah Miller from Calgary. She is on the case, and she's going to talk to you and me a little bit about why we're doing this, what we're doing exactly, and what we hope to achieve. So without further ado, I want to open up the actual lawsuit document, the application we brought to the federal court for you to look at, and I'll walk you through it here. So, of course, it's the federal court, it's Rebel News Network, and me actually suing the Attorney General of Canada, which basically means we're suing Justin Trudeau and his cabinet for a bunch of different reasons, basically because of these COVID jails, and because we think they're unconstitutional. So, of course, this first application is saying that we think that they're using powers that they don't actually have to lock Canadians up in a quarantine facility. They call it, they're really COVID jails. And Section 2 here is really, I think, one of the most interesting parts of this lawsuit. And I'll read it to you. A declaration, this is what we're seeking, a declaration pursuant to Section 52 of the Constitution Act 1982, being Schedule B of the Canada Act 1982, UK 1982, C11, that the sections of the accommodation order, which is what we're suing over, which requires quarantine at government-authorized accommodations or quarantine facilities, or include government-authorized accommodations in a quarantine plan, are inconsistent with Sections 7, 8, and 9 of the Charter, and are in no force or effect. This is really the kicker of our application to the federal court. If a judge agrees with this section, it is saying that what Justin Trudeau is doing is unconstitutional, which would be a massive blow to Justin Trudeau, to his government, to his ego, and to his polling numbers, because it will be proof that Justin Trudeau has confiscated the rights, the charter rights that his father actually signed into law. He confiscated those from Canadians for no reason, for no reason that makes sense, at least, and no legal reason, that's for sure. Now, Sections 7, 8, and 9 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, I'll read them out to you. 7 is everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person. They can't be deprived of that. Section 8 is everyone has the right to be secure against unreasonable search or seizure. And Section 9 is everyone has the right not to be arbitrarily detained or imprisoned. These are very basic rules that Canada operates by. They're the fundamental freedoms that we enjoy in Canada, and Justin Trudeau has trampled on them. And I think that a judge will look at the evidence that we've outlined here. In this is obviously an issue. We need to act quickly. We need to act urgently. And the goal here is for the law to be slapped down, for a judge to sit Justin Trudeau down and say, no, you can't do this. You can't violate basic rights of Canadians to cover up your own failures. Now, there's a lot of reasons that we're saying this is a problem. And one of the main reasons is that this doesn't achieve what Justin Trudeau has set out to achieve in the first place. He says that this is to stop the spread. For some reason, he thinks Canadians coming from the United States are more risky, despite the fact that to get onto the plane back into Canada, you must have had a negative test. I had to take a COVID swab into my nose. It sucked. You can watch it right here on screen. I had to take this test while I was in Florida. Upon landing, I had to take another, and then 10 days after, I had to take a third. I was the most COVID negative person on planet Earth after all that testing had been completed. But Justin Trudeau didn't care. He still threw me in a COVID gulag and made me pay for it, and didn't give me one night of those delightful accommodations. So in doing that, not only was I not able to just go home, quarantine, and not see a single soul, I had seen no fewer than 14 different individuals. Many of them I was in very close quarters with. One of them I was in an elevator with twice. Another I was in an elevator with him once as they took me to and from my room. It was an absolute joke. It's a disgrace of a...
But anyways of it, enough of it, and there you go. So it's almost some greatest thing. So as you can see there, that rebellious and against this going on and serving Trudeau and his cabinet. So let's see how things gonna go here. But another thing, can tell you, Big Pharma has immunity. They have immunity. So if something happened to you, you cannot sue them. Just imagine it. How do you even like it? How do you even like it? in the midst of thing that big pharma has immunity, and something happened to you, cannot sue them because you have immunity. Wow, so freaking crazy here. I can tell you that it's so freaking crazy when you think about it. And hear that the most absolute thing here is that you know the big tech is literally going on and censoring anyone that literally put things so critical of them. And enough of it, but I can tell you to be careful out there. If you want to, if you don't want the big tech trampling on you, but uh, in the midst of it, yes. So uh, you know that this freaking fake news is the media party, or should say media mob, start covering those things that they're not covering that could actually blow up their freaking narrative. Well, take a look on this.
Theta, the blackest brother in the galaxy, Nubian god.
What's a Nubian?
All right, lefties, here you go. I know that this channel is considered a hotbed of white supremacy, radicalization, and agitation. I think that's a little bit racist. You don't know shit about me. I'm going to assume something based on my skin color. Seems a little bit bigoted, but let's table that because I'm clearly not a racist. I will stand up against racism. I will clearly stand up against people being attacked based on their skin color, their gender. All right, we're over at the Gateway Pundit. Let's take a... shit. This didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I'm confusion because that's a black dude, and I was told by MSNBC and that fucking black chick with rainbow red hair who did the 1619 project that black people can't be racist. So I'm slightly confusioned over here. Let's go through the story. Racist black man stabs 12-year-old boy in the neck at a McDonald's while ranting about white devils. It doesn't get more clear cut than that. I mean, it doesn't get more clear cut. He's screaming white devils while he knifes a kid in his neck. I mean, unless he was screaming, "You white cracker honky white devil, die," I don't know how it could get more clear cut, but fucks up their agenda, fucks up their narrative, so they ain't gonna talk about it. The left-wing media that is masturbating to all of these racism crimes, they're going out of their way to concoct racism crimes. They will ignore this one. They will tiptoe around it. They will cover their eyes because it messes up their narrative. This story is insane.
But here's the most absolute thing here. Uh, they're going on and saying, "Oh, who white supremacy is everywhere." Oh, wait. Before you nonsense here, uh, you need to provide me proof. Yes, you need to provide proof of what you're saying. Like, uh, basically, like you guys need to yes, you guys need to literally show me a proof of the shenanigans you're putting out there, because if you cannot provide me, if you cannot show me anything, then like any real evidence of it, then I can tell you that you're just wasting your breath. Like you're just wasting everything. And I'm gonna call it gibberish, pure gibberish. But here's the most another fascinating here. Uh, Kamala Harris is being asked if she's gonna go visit the border. Well, she said, I don't know, or no. Well, that's literally proof that they're basically denying the crisis, like literally denying the border crisis that they created. I think it's kind of neutral of them, but here's the clip. Look at this.
Breaking tonight, third warning signs that the situation at the border could spiral into a full-blown crisis as we're getting our first look at overcrowded living conditions inside a child migrant detention facility.
Are you thinking of going to the border?
At some point I will, yes.
Do you want to see firsthand what's going on in those facilities?
I know what's going on in those facilities.
Do you have plans to visit the border?
Not today.
Wow, how can she laugh when they're the one who, like, she's literally laughing, and you can tell it's not a laughing matter because the most of thing that they're the one who created this crisis, and uh, not only that, uh, the most thing here is, uh, yes, the most of thing here is that they seems to be not caring about the crisis. Apparently, they don't care if they're gonna end up destroying USA. Because back then, like they're saying, "Oh, deka, 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 come on in, come on in." Like free healthcare, free education, free housing, amnesty, pathway to citizenship. Yeah, see, like you idiots, someone who created this whole fucking problem here, and not only that, you come on, like you have the nerve to laugh, like you have the nerve to laugh, even though it's not a laughing matter. And the most of thing here, you know what? How about Bolo? How about you and Sleepy Joe resign immediately? Like, why don't you just go and resign? Because in the most thing here, it's not a laughing matter. So I think that Kamala Harris is deserved to be criticized when it's come to that. When it's come to the border crisis, I think she needs to be criticized heavily for laughing because it's not a freaking laughing matter here. It's so very serious. It's a very serious matter, and like very serious matter, very serious issue here. So I don't know. why she didn't like I don't know how can she sleep at night like if if the most thing that she's basically just scrubbing it off and not only that not only that here folks that in the most of basically thing here the woman yes talking about Kamala that she has a freaking yes she's a huge fucking nerve to laugh. It's like when she laugh when she when she's being asked about it and she just laugh like that's literally saying that I don't care about the crisis that it's not worth it. It's not worth of paying attention to and just let it be. Like what the heck? Are you serious man? Are you even for serious? Because I can tell you that for me it's not a laughing matter. So I think this woman is the total when she being criticized. I think she deserved it. She really deserved to be criticized.
Uh, um, Not today, but I have before, and I'm sure I will again.
Let's bring in Dan Patrick, Lieutenant Governor of Texas, for some further insight into the crisis on our southern border. Lieutenant Governor, good to have you back. Could you give us an assessment of the current situation, the help that you're getting, and what you still think you need?
Well, first of all, Shannon, I'm offended by that laugh by the Vice President. For Americans, for Texans, for those families desperately trying to get here. Yesterday, 9 disasters, Shannon. This is their plan. Their plan is to allow millions to come here, legalize them as soon as they can, get them registered to vote, and try to take the White House on the backs of people who are crossing the border by the thousands every day. 6 of our Senate ladies, our 6 Republican ladies, went to the border today as moms. And they went to the Del Rio sector, where they reported back to me that sex offenders are up 1,967% in just the Del Rio sector of Texas. Now, sex offenders are defined, Shannon, by people who we've already arrested for committing sexual offenses against children, and they're crossing back 2-3 times in this country. And she laughs about it as the Vice President. Our border is wide open. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, Lieutenant Governor, I will give her the benefit of the doubt that I don't think any vice president would be laughing at sex offenders or of a child losing their life. Not an appropriate response to a lot of people. It seemed rather flippant.
Sure,
I don't want to assign
as it should
that
be.
to her. But let's talk about this. The DHS Secretary Mayorkas on Fox News Sunday yesterday. This was his assessment of the border. I want to get your
Sure, because basically that you know for Kamala's kind of a laughing matter, but honestly, for real, uh, it's not a freaking laughing matter. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I can tell you that she's a freaking disgrace. She's a huge disgrace. What a disgraceful woman. Because then she just her laugh, that laugh, that laugh of hers just basically proving that she's just scrubbing it off. And I totally agree on what the Lieutenant Governor of Texas said that it is not a laughing matter because that's a very huge one. But left their agenda is the leftist agenda. Radical left, radical leftist agenda is for open border, amnesty, all sort of stuff, that kind of stuff. But here is the most absolute thing that I can tell you as of right now. The basis of thing here, uh, the yes, that this thing is not a nothing matter at all. It's a very serious one. And I can tell you, it is something that we should be taking so very seriously. Yes, this border crisis needs to be taken so seriously because uh not only like there's drug cartels, sex offenders, human traffickers, and other bunch of criminals. And can tell you that it is not a laughing matter at all. No, of course not. Not only that here, by the basis of thing here, that uh, you have a freaking first, yes, you have a freaking idiot there like Kamala thinking that uh, it is a laughing, that word of laughing, just, just laughing at it, and uh, my basis thing for her, just nothing but a, not a hot issue for her for sure. So I'm pretty much sure that you totally agree with me that this is not a freaking laughing matter. It's a very serious one. Oh man. And here's the was another thing that I can tell you that pretty much sure MSM will literally just scrub it off. Like they won't even try to show it, I think. But the most absolute thing here is uh Kamala Harris needs to resign as soon as possible. Yes. So the most of thing here, and let's get straight to other topics. So let's go ahead and talk about Susan Wojcicki and YouTube. So apparently they're going now on full force, getting rid of anyone that so critical of them. Yes, and guess what? This thing happened to Rebel News. Um, Let me show you the whole vid.
Last night at 5:30 p.m., I received this letter from YouTube. They're cutting off Rebel News. They're completely canceling all remaining ads on our channel, even from advertisers who specifically request our channel. And worse, they're banning our 1.45 million YouTube voluntarily paying us through what are called live stream super chats. This is going to cost us about $400,000 a year. We've got three choices, really. If we stop criticizing the lockdown, they say we can reapply in 30 days and possibly get our ads back. But we would have to stop saying what we say. We have to say what they want us to say. Or we could gut our company, cut out $400,000 a year in costs. We've just hired great new folks, new reporters, editors. We've done so much great civil liberties work. Cutting a year means probably cutting 7 staff. I think that's really what YouTube wants us to do. Choose. Change our editorial viewpoint or cut $400,000 from our payroll. Me? I'll do neither, thank you. I've got a plan. We're going to get through this. We're not going to be just like the CBC or CNN. We're not going to parrot the left. I have a plan. Stay with me, and I'll tell you about it. Or if you can't wait, just go to afteryoutube.com, and it's all right there. I need your help to survive this. I think YouTube is ramping up. To be honest, I think their next step will be to suspend our channel altogether, just to delete us. I really don't know how long we've got left on YouTube at all, but I do have a plan, and you can see it at afteryoutube.com. It's a simple plan, and today we started to implement it. Frankly, we were expecting something like this. We started putting things in motion months ago. But just quickly, before I get to the plan, you might think that maybe we did something wrong. YouTube has a 3 strikes and you're out policy for inappropriate videos. I should tell you, we have 0 strikes. We've published more than 15,000 videos on YouTube, and we've never violated their terms of service. There was no warning here. We don't know about any complaint. We're aware of no video that caused this. When I got that letter last night, I phoned our YouTube rep, and I asked if there was something in particular that we did wrong. Was there a video that broke a rule? I mean, if there was something really bad, maybe we would fix it or even just take it down. She said, no, there's no particular video. I asked if we could appeal the ruling. She said, no, there's no such thing. I asked if I could talk to a more senior boss. She said she'd check. Pretty sure I know the answer. But let me take one more minute on their email to me last night. There was a cryptic reference in there. Do you see that one phrase, harmful or dangerous acts? That's a list of things you can't do on YouTube. I read through the whole thing very carefully. It's mainly a rule.
I'm just gonna fix another thing here, so I'll be right back here. No way, I'm gonna keep playing it.
Against crazy and dangerous things that we've just never done. Here's an example. Acts involving high-risk activities such as skyscraper parkour or depicting serious injury like skate slam aftermath. That's an example. Or pranks relating to suicide, death, terrorism, such as fake bomb scare pranks or threats with lethal weapons, sexually unwanted acts such as forced kissing, groping, sexual abuse, spy cams in dress room. These are actual YouTube examples of what they mean by harmful or dangerous ads. Have you ever seen anything like that on Rebel News. There's a list of things they call medical misinformation, like denying that certain medical conditions exist, such as HIV, COVID-19, and content claiming the vaccine will cause infertility, contain a microchip, or be used to euthanize parts of a population. Now, we've never said those things. I don't actually knows all the facts about the virus or the vaccines yet, but we haven't claimed that COVID doesn't exist or that there's a microchip in the vaccine or anything wild at all like that. We just talk about the same things everyone else does. It's the news, and we're a news channel. If you've watched our videos, you know our problem isn't really with the virus itself. It's the political response to the virus we're worried about, the lockdowns, the violation of civil liberties, even police brutality. That's what we talk about every day. We even put a little warning on the front of our videos about the pandemic, letting people know that we are skeptics of the conventional wisdom. That's all we needed to do. So for no reason, YouTube has just gutted $400,000 from our Rebel News budget, and they won't even tell us why. Is it because we're skeptics of the lockdown? Is it because of political pressure on them, maybe? Is it because of what I showed you last week, that the U.S. Navy and the Canadian Armed Forces Special Operations Command paid an Arkansas defense contractor to try to spy on us? I mean, that was really weird and creepy. Did those spy agencies pressure YouTube to demonetize us? It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we caught them spying on us. Or maybe it was Trudeau himself. Trudeau has ordered police to remove our reporters from his press conferences. He's banned us from attending public debates. He even denounced us by name on the floor of Parliament.
It is disappointing to see the Conservatives engage in peddling rebel media conspiracy theories.
Was it that? Or was it the fact that just last week we filed a lawsuit against the Heritage Minister, Stephen Guilbeault, for blocking and censoring us? I haven't even had a chance to tell you about that lawsuit yet. Imagine that. We sue him for censoring us, so he censors us. Is that what happened? I don't know. YouTube won't tell us. I don't think we'll ever know. But I know that YouTube, which is owned by Google, is a far-left organization politically. It really doesn't like conservatives. And after Trump won in 2016, they had a staff meeting at Google where they swore they would crack down on any conservative YouTubers. Well, it took them 4 years, but it looks like they finally kept their promise. This one, their next step could be to shut us down. To hell with the 1.45 million YouTube subscribers who love our content, who constantly give our videos nice like ratios. So what do we do after YouTube? We'll be working on our plan B for when the cancel mob comes for us. We've already set up Rebel News channels on smaller rivals to YouTube, like the video website BitChute and Rumble.com. That's a Canadian-based company that has a free speech orientation. Dan Bongino and even Donald Trump Jr. use Rumble.com for their videos. Starting today, we'll put all of our videos up on those sites and 5 other video alternatives too. And instead of driving traffic to YouTube by linking to YouTube from our Facebook and Twitter accounts, we'll now send our people to those new upstart video channels too. We'll still keep using YouTube. We're not going to abandon the 1.45 million people there. We won't cut them off. But we're going to let them know in every single video we upload to YouTube that they have to tell us who they are, their name and email address, or else when YouTube finally pulls the plug on us, we just won't be able to contact them anymore. That's the main purpose for AfterYouTube.com, so that when YouTube kills us, which I fear they will, our 1.45 million friends know where to find us, and we know where to find them. Look, YouTube essential. If we stop talking about the lockdowns, maybe they'll let us have ads again. Well, I'll never censor myself or our reporters like that. A year hole in our 2 young reporters who are doing great work. We just hired 2 new video editors too. We just hired a full-time lawyer to help us fight the fines cases. I suppose a normal company would just lay off 7 or 8 staff. I mean, that's what the corporate media do. BuzzFeed just bought the Huffington Post, and they immediately laid off their entire Canadian staff. They just care more about making money. They don't actually believe anything. Well, we believe in things here. I do, and our whole staff does. Our motto is to tell the other side of the story, not to just repeat the story that YouTube wants us to tell. So option one is to obey YouTube and become liberal. No thanks. Option two is to do what Huffington Post just did. Just fire everyone to cut costs. No thanks. Option three is to do what I'm going to do. To ask you to help me. If you love Rebel News and you don't want to see us bend to the will of YouTube and you don't want to see us lay off staff, then please help me. Go to afteryoutube.com and tell me your name and email address so I know how to reach you when I'm finally deleted from YouTube. You can unsubscribe from our list anytime, and we'll never sell our list to anyone. That's the first thing. Second, sign up for our alternative video platforms. You can see that right on the page at afteryoutube.com. And number three, I have to ask, not for me, but for my team, please help me replace the $400,000 that YouTube just took from us. Please help me keep our editorial policy independent. Please help me make payroll for all these new journalists. And you can do that too, right there at afteryoutube.com. I'm sorry to ask for money, but YouTube knows our pressure points, don't they? They know we don't take money from Trudeau. They know we don't take money from a big corporation. So they know we really, really needed that $400,000 a year from them, which is why they blocked that with no explanation. Please don't let them win. Please let us continue our important work. Please help me replace the $400,000 that YouTube just took from us. Go to afteryoutube.com to help. Thank you, my friends. I promise that if you give us the tools, we'll finish the job. YouTube just ambushed us. They cut off all funds to us. That's $400,000 a year. Please help me prepare for when they suspend us by going to afteryoutube.com. Thanks.
Oh well. Here's the most absolute thing I can because right now, uh, we need to open up our churches. Yes, churches needs to open up. Businesses needs to open up. United compliance, and we still have freedom of. Yes, there's still the charter was in freedom, but we should not let it. But we should not just. We should not sit on the couch comfortably thinking that, because I can tell you, if you don't wise up now and you don't take action now, eventually the journalism freedom will be gone in a blink of eye. Can tell you that. And yes, so please don't forget to make a donation at gf.me/u/jgkyhk. Yes, that's a yes, my fundraising one. I created that for to keep me going here. Yes, so if you wanna go and crowdfund it, all the fee, yes, all of the things that I'm gonna be needing, which is most of things equipment, and second, uh, yes, money, a fair money, yes, transit money, a money for transit. So by meaning of it, when I go to places that I need to go and cover, that it will literally cost. can tell you. So that's gf.me, yes, gf.me slash u slash jgkyhk. Once again, gf.me slash u slash jgkyhk, or at paypal.com slash paypal.me slash Fukareventon2. And also, please don't forget to show your support at patreon.com slash Villamor. Yes, I would truly appreciate your generous support at patreon.com slash Villamor. And if you want this about us, just let me know how many you want, and you can tell the price, and it's gonna be up to you if, how much you want to pay me. But uh the absolute thing here, think for yourself, ask questions, and uh the business thing here, yes, oh yes, absolutely yes. So keep spreading out the truth, say no to these COVID vaccines, and keep fighting for freedom. So that's it, folks. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for paying attention to this show always, and thanks for hanging out. And sorry for the late start here. But in the either ways of it, uh, hopefully I see you guys tomorrow. Then up until then, bye bye and good night. Hopefully see you guys tomorrow.